That's James' dinner. It's sweet potato vermicelli with this sauce, hash browns with roasted garlic hummus and cilantro and a salad. And I'm going to talk about Miss Scarlet and the Duke season 4 and Mother's Day. And both of those suck. So if you are really pressed for time and you don't want to watch the review, well, these aren't worth watching. So, and the dinner doesn't look that great right now because it was ready
a
like
long
an
time
hour
ago.
ago.
Yeah, I stopped off at a
he went to a block party or something
Yep.
instead of coming here. So anyway, so I don't care for Miss Scarlet and the Duke anyway. I haven't liked any of the seasons, so it's not really a big surprise that I don't like season 4. I think the woman who plays Miss Scarlet is a terrible actress, and honestly, these two have no chemistry. So they're supposed to be, oh, will they get together? And it's like,
Who cares?
who cares? They shouldn't ever get together. They have no chemistry. It doesn't make sense that they would get together. And she's such a bad actress that she can't even fake it, whereas he can make it look okay or whatever, but still you can tell they wouldn't be good together. Anyway. And well, the story's ridiculous. Whatever. If they had a woman who was a secret spy kind of thing, or whatever, that might work. Or maybe she's a detective, but it's done in a way so that it's the wives in the neighborhood pay her as a sort of, it's a club or something like that. You know, then it would make sense, but it doesn't. You know, how it's set and whatever. So it's just bad. Mother's Day, well, this obviously isn't the fault of the talent that they got for this.
Well,
they got quite a lineup here. So yeah, there's Kate Hudson, Julia Roberts, Jason Sudeikis, or however you pronounce that, and others in here that did a good job too. So it's not the acting, but the music that was in the background of scenes, that was annoying.
What type of music is it?
Well, it's just some instrumental stuff that they have in the background, but it's annoying. I don't know. And there's some funny stuff. You know, the writing isn't terrible. There's some good comedy writing in here, but it's not good. It's not good. I mean, maybe it got the bottom of the stack just because I expected a lot more from it, and I didn't get it. So anyway, I guess that's all I really have to say. Do you think you have enough sauce there? Because there's a little more in the container if you want it, but I just figured that would be enough.
I think it'd be enough.
Okay.
So this is sweet potato vermicelli?
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah. So anyway, how do you like the hummus with the hash browns? I thought it would be a good little thing, you know, because
you were asking me about it yesterday, and I offered the other alternative, right?
Yeah, we get these hash browns for free, and the dogs have decided they went on strike. They don't want hash browns anymore. For a while, they thought, oh yeah, this is human food. This is a treat.
Yeah, they shall meat challenge down.
Yeah, but and maybe if they see you eating them more, maybe they will. But they don't want to anymore. They don't want it. They don't think it's a treat. And so I thought, well, they're not very healthy, but they certainly are easy to make. Like this whole meal was very easy to make. It's very instant, you know. But anyway, so I thought, well, if I put some roasted garlic hummus and some cilantro on it, you put cilantro on anything, it's going to be healthy, right? It just seems that way. So,
well, garlic in the hummus has got to be pretty good too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's really tasty hummus.
Good.
Ordinarily, I'm not a big fan of hummus.
Yeah. Well, I gave you the most of the roasted garlic, so that because I know you like that, right? That's some wind we have.
It's a garbage bin.
Yeah.
Going on.
So anyway, I guess that's all I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna try to sneak by the aloe vera without breaking it. And I don't know how much time you have because the battery light's on. So go for it. Talk about whatever you want, and you locked me out.
I can't do it.
Well, you did. Oh. Okay, maybe you did.
I got frightened there because I knew I didn't have my feet. I'll get back in a second.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna sit here and talk about the food. So, if you haven't had that sweet potato vermicelli, it's really inexpensive, and it's almost calorie free. So, whatever you decide to put with it, that's really all you have to worry about in terms of calories. And another thing about it is you don't have to worry about all the carbs that you would worry about with eating like regular pasta or whatever. So a lot of people go for this stuff, and it took me a while to warm to it because it's the texture is a little bit different, but it's really not bad. What do you think about the sweet potato vermicelli?
Well, I like the sauce. It's,
Yeah, you don't like the vermicelli that
well,
much.
I like
eh?
it pretty good. It's just it looks like worms. So.
Yeah. Well, once you mix it in with the sauce, like
Yep.
if you have a creamy kind of looking sauce like that, it doesn't look like that.
Yep.
It just does until you mix it.
It'll be great once I get going.
Yeah.
Thanks. Sorry, a little bit of indigestion there. Okay. Finished a couple of books yesterday. History of Ancient Rome. Now, the actual series is a lot longer than the book would suggest. How many different lessons are there? I think it's something 48. Lecture. Okay. 48. I don't know how many lectures there are in the CD. Maybe 2, maybe 1. So I haven't seen the series. Let's just see how many lectures they've got on these 4 discs here. So it looks as though there's 6 lectures per disc. So this would mean that there are 6 and 48 is 8. There'd be 8 discs with this, which is pretty substantial, really. History of Ancient Rome goes all the way from the beginning to the so-called fall of the Roman Empire. This guy puts it, his name is Garrett G. Fagan. Excuse me for a second. Puts the fall of Rome, fall in quotation marks, or what did they call it? Inverted commas or something? Anyway, I think that was supposed to be 476 AD. I think it fell, like there was a German emperor, not a Roman or Latin emperor, over Rome. You kind of fall if a foreigner takes over, I think. When the English started ruling India, India fell. I don't think that, you look at what happened to the western part of the Roman Empire, what we call the Roman Empire. It started to fall apart. The civilization wasn't nearly as viable as it was before. The civilization around the time of Augustus wasn't that civilized. I mean, you had these horrible fights of animals against each other, gladiators against each other, gladiators against animals, and things like that. All for people's entertainment. It's pretty disgusting stuff. Of course, in nowadays terms, it's disgusting by comparison with, let's say, even Irish rules football or hurling, American rules football, hockey at its worst. Of course, but like I was going to say, by comparison with what the Soviets were doing in the 20th century, what the People's Republic of China were doing in the 20th century, what the People's Republic of Vietnam, or whatever they called themselves, was doing from the end of World War II, really, fighting their revolutionary terrorist war. What Pol Pot did, on and on. What Hitler did. Kind of makes you, I mean, I think the people that became gladiators and stuff like that, again, I guess, some people volunteered. They were prisoners of war or criminals or stuff like that. But the numbers would be minuscule by comparison with the casualty figure of innocent people in with Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, People's Republic of China, stuff like that. Really bad stuff. Anyway, I have a hard time to really considering Rome as a Roman classicism as an extension of Greek classicism. There's kind of a technical carry through, but there's a real drop off in what I consider civilization. You see, the Roman Empire is the only real long-standing real empire in European history. The way I've put it for quite a while, I don't know if I've ever had this recorded for posterity, as it were, is Europe doesn't do empire well. Even the Roman emperors, for quite a bit of time at least, what we consider emperors. There didn't seem to be this idea of a dynastic principle. I think this is, again, this idea of, well, I think this is one of the reasons why Latin American countries, and also European Latin European countries, have a bad record of instability. I think it's a inheritance, cultural inheritance of the Roman tradition. The Roman tradition was, succession was arranged for not by succession to an emperor, imperial succession. It wasn't done from father to son. It was done by either defeating the emperor in battle or getting someone to whack him, or having someone whack him. Basically, the Roman Empire for quite a while at least, before you got something like a dynastic succession, was a tyranny. And by times a fairly brutal tyranny. And so it kind of, well, actually it followed, you know, like this guy in the book talks about the Roman Republic having a revolution. It was basically a 100-year-long revolution, from about 133 BC to roughly 31 BC or 27 BC. 31 BC is when Augustus beat Cleopatra and Mark Antony. A battle, it's a naval battle, I think, off the coast of Greece, western coast of Greece, Actium, is the name of the place. And 133 BC is when Tiberius Gracchus, or Gracchus, or however you want to mispronounce his name, started the revolution. Lasted, went through a variety of different permutations. I think there was a younger brother, another Gracchus or Gracchus. Forgotten the name offhand, but I just finished a long walk and earlier today and stuff like that. I'm a little bit tired. And then Marius, who was kind of the populist, I wouldn't necessarily call him a left winger. And then Sulla, aristocratic reaction to Marius. Cinna, followed Sulla, Catiline, probably aristocratic reaction, plotter, no doubt. And then Julius Caesar, tyrant, senatorial response to him, Brutus and Cassius and a host of others whacked Julius Caesar, and then another tyrant, Augustus Caesar, adopted son, I believe, of Julius Caesar, I think the great nephew of Julius Caesar, but adopted son. So it ended up in tyranny. This happened so often in Greece when they had a democratic movement, a movement to try to get rid of kings, specifically. Even in Athens, it ended up in tyranny. So, this is what happened in England with their first revolution in relatively modern time, 1640, 1642, somewhere around there. Their second revolution was quite successful. American Revolution was quite successful. Attempts at democracy. The success was, in both cases, flawed, but every other revolution since, including peaceful revolutions like the one that happened in India in 1947, has been failures. India was not that miserable a failure. The Russian Revolution was a miserable failure. The Chinese Revolution, which started in 1911, wasn't really finished until 1949, I believe it was. A miserable failure, ended up in tyranny. The Russian Revolution ended up in tyranny. The French Revolution, the first one, ended up in tyranny, the tyranny of Napoleon I. The Second Revolution, 1848, ended up with the tyranny of Napoleon III. The Third Revolution in 1870, 1871, ended up in German tyranny, and the German tyrants actually imposed something like democracy on the French. Miserable failure. The failed French Revolution of 1968 ended up in Charles de Gaulle winning a majority on his, or getting re-elected in a follow-up election. It was kind of a referendum on his rule. fairly quickly after that, it's followed up by Georges Pompidou, but it ended up in reaction. The failed American Revolution, severe failure in 1968 with the siege of Chicago, and there's a riot on both hands of left-wingers, yippies and others, and the police riot, I guess, too. My reaction, like in retrospect, is a plague on both their houses. No use for them. Anyway, pretty good service. I disagree with quite a few of his theses. I might deal with them a little more in length in the future. Like his idea that it really wasn't a fall in 476 AD when the Germans take over. Well, it was. I don't think he has a very clear idea of why the eastern part of the Roman Empire, which became the Byzantine Empire, survived for almost 1,000 years after the Western Empire fell. He doesn't quite understand it. Like we were talking earlier about what happened with the Greece. Plato. Well, I was talking with someone earlier today, I should say, about what happened. Why were Plato and Aristotle such flunkies? Why were the pre-Socratics better? I agree with Karl Popper about that. And we got this weird idea that Athens was kind of cutting edge. But not a few of the pre-Socratics actually came from elsewhere. Some came from Magna Graecia. But I think the significant thing is quite a few of them came from the western part of Turkey. So, put on your seatbelt, put on your helmet.